This podcast is for voice teachers and coaches to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want? I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur podcast. Hey, lovely voice teacher. I wanted to give you a heads up that this episode you're about to listen to is repurposed from a different location. So you may be hearing an audio response to one of my one-on-one voice teacher clients, or you may be hearing a little snippet from a group call inside of the Voicepreneur program, or you may be hearing an audio broadcast that I send out to the teachers inside of my offer called The T. So these are really the three places that I connect with voice teachers on a regular basis. Now, the Voicepreneur program, or VP as we call it, is the space where you can have it all. You get access to all of the business and marketing courses inside of there, which is so much juicy content. I literally cannot begin to tell you. You also get hot seat group coaching with me twice a month, and you plug into a community of seriously incredible voice teachers who are walking the walk with you, and they are all over the world. So that is inside of our very special program called VP. Now, if you want a more affordable option, we have The T, and The T is specifically a broadcast channel on Telegram where you can submit questions anonymously, and every week I go in on Telegram and I answer them in the form of a voice text. The members call it like their private podcast channel. It's really fun, and it's a super great affordable way to get coaching without paying that coaching fee or the coaching fees or having to wait for a scheduled call, because you can literally submit your questions anytime that you have them. So you can check out these offers and everything else that we have here at the Voicepreneur inside of the show notes attached to this episode. I truly can't wait to hear how this lands for you, so let me know your takeaway on Instagram. Shoot me a DM at the Voicepreneur. Enjoy the episode. You know, when it comes to this part of, I don't know if you want to call it like a high stakes time. I don't really love that phrase, but like a high energy time, right? Like pre-selling, launching, like anything where you're like, okay, here we go, we're freaking doing it. And it's like an extra different type of energy level. It is so easy to get stuck in this place. I have been in this place before myself with any type of content. It could be emails, it could be posts, it could be reels, it could be stories, like any of that stuff. And it's exactly what you're talking about, where we tend to overthink, right? So here's the most important suggestion that I could give you. And it may sound funny because it's not strategic. We will talk about strategy in a second, but this is really making sure our mindset is in the right place. I absolutely love that you are like, I am just trusting and going with the flow. Like, I just want to take it one day at a time. I love that. That's perfect. So now the thing that I would highly recommend doing, and I did mention this a little bit inside of Sell with Soul, but it's worth saying again, really up your self-care. Like, really take care of yourself. Do extra self-care during this time. Anytime that I'm selling anything or I'm opening something up new or anything like that, where it's, again, different type of energy, high level, different type of energy, I'm always going to be upping my self-care because, number one, it can be a very dysregulating and stressful situation to launch anything. And number two, we can get creative ideas and more inspiration and more of that flow that we're talking about from that place of taking care of ourselves. So I talk about it a million times, but I genuinely believe that walking is one of the best ways for us to get out of our head and into that type of flow. And like going for a hike, going for a walk, extending that walk. Maybe you do it for an extra 20 minutes, right? It's not like okay, I'm going to go take a 10-minute walk. It's like, I'm going to friggin' take a walk. I'm going to give an hour to myself. I'm not going to listen to anything, or anything I do consume is only for the highest good of me. Maybe it's good music, right? Like, instead of consuming a podcast or listening to how someone did something else, like that type of stuff is not typically very helpful during a launch. You got to stay in your zone and do the things that help you feel regulated. So walking is really good, journaling, taking a bath, like whatever, all those good things. Like those types of things are so important during this time. So that's the first thing that I would do, is really up your self-care. Now, in terms of the actual strategy component, so What ends up happening is our overthinking perfectionist self wants to plan everything out. Oh, I'll just batch create like 8 posts or 4 posts, and then I'll feel really good. And then we sit down to do it, and then we can't freaking do it. It's like such a hard task. You mentioned that you are feeling like there's just so many options. There are so many types of content to create. It's too overwhelming with all the options, right? So this feeling of there's so many options, it's overwhelming. When it comes to content and especially posts, you will always feel this way. Like, I feel this all the freaking time. Every time I create anything and I'm in that kind of same zone, like, I'm really kind of there right now, actually, because, I'm like still on a leave, so to speak. I'm on maternity leave, but I'm also like posting here and there. And anytime I'm like, oh, I want to make a post today, I have that same initial thought of, there's just so many options. Holy shit, how do I even choose? So that feeling never goes away. So we're not trying to necessarily like get rid of that feeling, but now it's a matter of, okay, I have options. What am I going to choose? And that is how I want you to think about every single day. You're taking it one day at a time. Pick one thing. So, what I do, and I showed you a little bit about this inside of the content guide, inside of that resources section where I show you that flow of how I create content and I capture ideas and I actually turn them into posts. So, you can watch that. And that's really what you want to be doing here is you take those different topics that you have, highlight them. So first, obviously like have your list of topics. This could be on a note, it could be on Google Docs. For me, it's on Google Docs typically. And then I will highlight that part. I will put it in to an actual board. I'll follow the outline and then I color code it based off of like, this feels fun and exciting. I'll do this one today. I do not overthink it. So give yourself 30 minutes today to do that. Just like pick a topic, put it on the board, like follow that exact process I showed you, do the framework, or at least like get the hook and maybe like the video type that you want to put with that hook. Those are really the two main things because once you have that and you have that outline and you have the outline for just a couple of posts or even just one post, like just one post a day